Welcome to Quick News for May 28th through June 3rd, 2016, a series which offers you quick news stories you may not have heard in 10 minutes or less. First story today, a blind man in Louisiana is suing McDonald's for refusing to let him walk through the drive-thru at 2 a.m. Scott McGee has accused McDonald's of discrimination for refusing to serve blind customers who walk up during late-night hours when the dining area is closed. He claims he was laughed at and turned away from the drive-thru window at a McDonald's in a New Orleans suburb last August. Company policy for McDonald's is not to serve pedestrians at the drive-thru due to the obvious danger of walking in what is essentially a road. The suit claims that it wouldn't take much for McDonald's to make its drive-thru windows accessible to blind people. They claim that if McDonald's was able to start serving breakfast all day, they should be able to make the changes necessary to serve the blind at night. My opinion? Blind people can't see. Any way of putting them through the drive-thru is going to put them at risk of getting hit by a car. In order to accommodate, McDonald's would have to make a special walk-up window, which is completely doable. For many restaurants, it wouldn't be a big deal at all, but the fact that the lawsuit says that they have to accommodate through the drive-thru is disregarding the fact that putting blind people that close to cars in the middle of the night could be very dangerous. Next up, the State Department on Tuesday warned Americans traveling to Europe of the danger of terror attacks this summer. In their travel advisory, they said the large number of tourists visiting Europe in the summer months will present greater targets for terrorists planning attacks in public locations, especially at large events. France is still in a state of emergency since their latest large-scale attack last November in Paris, which left 130 people dead. The State Department pointed out two events of interest this summer: the Catholic Church's World Youth Day in late July in Poland, and the European Soccer Championship in France from June 10th to July 10th. European authorities are struggling to implement security, while France's intelligence agency has warned that ISIS is planning more attacks and France is definitely a target. But as they continue to allow the flood of unvetted migrants, it's going to be harder and harder to keep these things from happening. As much as the State Department doesn't want to discourage people from traveling, this may not be the best time to do it. We have the unfortunate pleasure of watching Europe deteriorate from across the Atlantic, and personally, I'm going to keep it that way. The life expectancy of white people isn't growing quite as fast as everyone else. The reason? White people are killing themselves with drugs, alcohol, and suicide. Called deaths of despair by one expert, they're cutting the lives of white Americans short by nearly half a year on average. It doesn't sound like much, but it means that life expectancy among whites is not rising as quickly as it is among other races. As more and more whites kill themselves, it's narrowing the gap in life expectancy between the races. White life expectancy grew to 79 in 2014, up from 77.5 in 2000, a total of 1.5 years. While black life expectancy rose to a little over 75 from 71.5, a total of 3.5 years. Hispanic life expectancy is now at 82, up from 79. Experts are conflicted on why the rate of suicide and drug and alcohol abuse has risen so much in the white community. Some say it's because they have greater access to prescription drugs, which have been the root cause of drug overdoses lately. Others claim that whites are quicker to turn to suicide because of the lack of family and social support in their communities. Experts seem to be convinced that the life expectancy gap between the races will continue to close as time goes by. Finally, syphilis is making a comeback as people become more and more degenerate. A brand of penicillin specifically to treat pregnant women with syphilis is in short supply across the country, and doctors are being warned to maintain reserves. LA and many other places across the country are experiencing a significant increase in syphilis, especially among pregnant women, and congenital syphilis among infants. Congenital syphilis being when the pregnant mother passes the disease to the infant during pregnancy. From 2012 to 2014, the annual number of reported syphilis cases among women more than doubled from 248 cases to 594, and congenital syphilis tripled during that period from 30 to 100. In fact, all STDs are on the rise now thanks to the accepted culture of having unprotected sex with multiple unknown partners. The approximate 20 million cases of STDs cost the U.S. taxpayer about $16 billion every year. Public health succeeds by tracking the partner and getting that person treated, says Dr. Peter Bielenson, CEO of Evergreen Health in Maryland. He says, with online dating and people not even knowing who the person is, if you come down with chlamydia or gonorrhea, let's say, and you want to make sure you treat the partner, there's no way of knowing who the partner is. This is an especially controversial subject when you bring up HIV and AIDS. A heated debate is happening where many people on the left want to remove HIV disclosure laws in some states requiring a person with HIV to tell their sexual partners their status before having sex. Many leftists believe this alienates those with HIV. However, removing the personal responsibility from the HIV-positive person puts it onto the unsuspecting partner, who must then be leery of everyone they sleep with. It can also cause a much larger public health crisis. Like in India, where 2,234 people have been infected with HIV after a blood transfusion. Removing disclosure laws would allow people with HIV to donate blood, potentially infecting anyone who receives it. While I have no solutions for the growing STD problem, I can give you one piece of advice. Cover it up, and be more picky about who you sleep with. No one's saying you can't have fun, but there's no need to go sleeping with everyone you see. Well, that's it for Quick News this week. If you have a story you think I should do in this segment, tweet it at me with the hashtag #QuickNews. And be sure to follow me on Twitter for news, insight, and general lulls. Click that red button to subscribe and join the skeptical family where we put logic and reason above feelings and emotion. Thanks for watching.